Hello, I'm Bob Ganzak, and this is MotivationU the Podcast. Welcome to MotivationU the Podcast, coming to you live from Spurrier's Gridiron Grill here at Celebration Pointe inside the Coach's Podcast Room. It's been a couple of weeks since I've been here, and it is just such a great feeling to be back. We're going to get to our guest here in a moment, talk to you a little bit about a couple of things coming up. We have the Dale Carnegie class starting in Gainesville, April 26th. And again, would love to have you join us in that. We still have some room in that class. You can find us and register at jacksonville.dalecarnegie.com. jacksonville.dalecarnegie.com. Go ahead there, find the course, register. There may be one on there also for Lake City. There may be one for Jacksonville. We're going to be putting on program in Valdosta, in Tifton coming up in the upcoming months. So we're going to have a lot of things going on, and just want to invite you to be a part of that and join us in that Dale Carnegie course. Today, I am so excited to have with me as my guest Frank Suarez. Frank, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Frank is an individual that if you're around Celebration Pointe, you hear the myth, the legend of, and then you get to meet the man himself, and everything is just what it was spoken about. It's just an absolutely incredible, interesting human being. And Frank, first of all, I want to ask you, what do you do now here at Celebration Pointe? What is your role?
I'm the director of operation. I make sure that the whole operation gets work done, landscaping, construction. Not too much on construction. I help construction too, all around. Make sure everything is fine here in the property. Everything's taken care, mechanical wise, everything. Make sure everybody comes here with a family and they feel welcome here and safe.
Well, that is awesome. Now, usually, this is the first time I've seen you without your trademark.
I got my cowboy hat. I didn't bring it today because I didn't know it was here to bring it, but I always wear my cowboy hat. I am a country boy. They usually call me the Cuban redneck everywhere that I've been because, I just love to wear my hat, especially I'm outdoor. Even in my role sometimes is to be, facility engineer, director of operations. I'm not a kind of guy that wears a suit every day. I need to be up there because if you inside your office, your job's not going to get done. You got to make sure everything is taken care of.
Well, you and I were talking the 15, 20 minutes before we went on the air here, and I really don't even know where to start with this, except for let's start with birth. Where were you born, and what was your early thoughts and memories of childhood when in your early years?
Yes, I was born in Havana, Cuba, in 1960, 8 p.m. and a hospital called La Covadonga. I remember that it's in the middle of the town of Havana, and I was there all the way to 10 years old. My childhood was through the communist regime. And my dad had the owner of Frigidaire brand in Havana assembly plant with my uncle Benitez is still alive, one guy. And they had a big assembly plant, and I was involved with, my dad's a mechanical engineer, and he was involved in assembling refrigeration. That's where my background started on the air conditioning and everything like that. And my dad was a super handyman, way in the sticks in Cuba. solar come away, and my dad saw electricity when he was 13 years old. Way in the bit, but my dad used to like to read a lot and listen to classical music. Very knowledgeable person. I had a lot of respect for my father, and he built an empire in Cuba. And Fidel came over in 1965, I think was a 60. They took over his business, and the house that he had in Miramar in Cuba with the swimming pool and everything. And they took us all out of there and they put us in a studio apartment next to the Revolution Plaza. They call real bad place to live. And then they put us there to humiliate us. And then because that's the first thing a communist country does, is they humiliate you and demoralize your family. And that's the goal. And then my father wanted to leave the country. They made our life very impossible.
So you got out. Your dad got you out of there when you were 10 years old.
10 years old, in 1970.
What was the process of that? What do you recall from those moments of leaving Cuba and moving to the States?
Yeah, when you apply, you have to have a sponsorship here in the United States. My uncle, I'm sorry, not my uncle, my godfather, that he died, he moved to California. He left first. He was one of my father's partner. But my dad was so patriotic, like I am now in this country, and he loved Cuba. He didn't want to leave. And he said, I'm going to make it, but he didn't have that vision that like the other people did that left early. And then my godfather claimed for us, fill the paperwork and sponsor us to come to the United States. And then it took us 6 years to leave the country because since my father was a mechanical guy, Raul Castro wanted to build a house in Matanza for some other stuff like that. I can't mention that on the radio because it's a real bad place. And they put my father to work there and to build it. And then until he finished to build it, with limited resources to buy equipment, they did not allow him to leave. Well, they sent him to the concentration camp in Camagüey for 3 years. I didn't see my dad for 3 years. My dad had a heart attack while he was working there. And then they finally, when he laid down dead, the guy, one of those sergeant guys there, put him on top of the tractor and say, take this guy to the station and take it to Havana, and told the family he dead. Well, my dad was not dead. My dad was unconscious from the heart attack. I guess the movement of the tractor woke him up. And his body, who took him over there, I don't know his name. I met him in Miami. The only name I know him because his name used to be called Milk Belly. He had a big old beer belly. And he drove and saw my dad woke up. I said, we're not going back. We're going to take you to, and then when the guy got there, he finally found a good man who said, yeah, I'll take it to Havana. They took it to Havana and said, hey, he woke up in the train. Now they don't want to send him back. And they said, we're going to use your skills now. And then they put my dad to work to take care of all the embassies in Havana. That's when I started learning how to do refrigeration on that, because they allowed me to go.
At age 9, 10?
Oh, no, I was 7, 8 years old.
Wow.
I've been working since I opened my eyes, man. I'm not kidding you. And then we started working, doing all the stuff. And then we started doing, while he was working refrigerator, taking care of the embassy for the government, my dad had extra work on the black market. You have to go get food. There's no matter, the Cuban pesos don't worth nothing. And then we trade him for food. And then I would go with my father and to the countryside in a 53 Chevy that my dad had. And we would drive and do fixed refrigeration and compressors, and I would cut it inside, run the wiring inside. Everything had to be done. You can't buy compressors. You have to do everything yourself. And then we would do that, and we exchange it for a pig or a goat. And, well, you cannot bring that to your house because a communist country will grab you and say, where you got that from? And then we would put it inside the fender of the car, and we put screws, and we would travel through the between like states, but in Cuba they call province. And we go through the checkpoints and they won't know anything. And then in the middle of the night, my father would make me come out and take out that pig, and then we have to cook it on the pressure cooker because we cannot fry it because the smell will turn us in. Because in every block in Cuba, there is a snitch that is hired by the state to make sure everybody's on tippy toes. And that's what happened. I started going like that. And it's like, and since a little I was working, that's why I don't take advantage of anything in my life because I didn't have no toys when I was little, nothing like that. Just work and work and work. And my dad say, you know, the only thing I can teach your son is here's a hammer and a screw and a meter. Let's go and learn. And I've been doing that all my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you came to America at age 10 to the States.
Yes.
Where did you move to, and what was life like at that time for you, for your family?
When we got to the United States, we came in the Freedom Flight, and the reason why my dad finished the apartment for Raúl Castro, the big complex, and Raúl Castro wanted to build another one, and now he told my father he cannot leave either. Then my dad say, you know what, you're going to have to kill me and my family against a wall because I'm not refusing to work anymore for you. And then this big captain that was there say, come in, Mr. Suarez. They come on, let me talk to you. Are you out of your mind? You're going to get executed. And he said, I don't care. You can do it. My dad was tired. They took us up there, and then the guy say, okay, you're going to leave. They went to our house. They picked us up and gave us a suitcase. And we took us to the Varadero airport. And they took us there, and when we go there, you go through a line with different people, and the communist people, they get hired by the state to call you worms. They used to call ours, the Cuban who leave, worms, maggots, and they humiliate you because you're not a communist, you don't agree with them. Well, they sent us to the flight. We got everything there. We got in the airplane by Eastern Airlines. The Constellation Airline,
Yes.
And then we landed in Miami, and we went to the Freedom Home, and we were blessed that we got there by the Catholic Church, sponsor us a little bit. The only thing my godfather did was bring it to us, and in case we get sick, whatever, but that didn't work out because it didn't work out. We got welfare, we got food stamp and housing, and then we stayed in the Freedom Homes in Miami for a week to 2 weeks, and then my dad, friend of him, took us to his apartment. We stayed there a few months on his apartment, and then my dad we went to Newark, New Jersey. To the projects, and they say, okay, we go there now. They send us over there. We didn't speak English. We there with the Portuguese and Italians. Bad place. That's what I learned my basic training there. And then I became an entrepreneur. That's why I am the way I am. I started building like snow slate, but with ball bearing, because I work across the street with this Portuguese guy who had truck business, and I make some a tool they call carriola.
So you were making a sledge.
A sledge with the wheels for snow, and I made that sell it for $1, $2, or even to change it for food. Because, we used to get the welfare cheese, the big one like that. And the guy would take it from home for me to make. That's how I built a business and friendship with the guys who were trying to kill me in the projects, because they were always fighting. Yeah. And I was very young. My brother was very little. And then we were there for a year. And then my father left to Miami with save money enough with a Greyhound to start walking in the street and find a job as a refrigeration and air conditioning mechanic. And my mother stayed with us, taking care of us. We were with food stamp, going to school, Hopkins Elementary, real bad school. But,
And that was in Newark?
In Newark, New Jersey. And we went up back there, and I walk every day like 11, 12 blocks.
Hold that thought for 1 second.
Yes, sir.
Just to share with you, we're speaking with Frank Suarez, and we're talking about this incredible journey that he's been on for the last, let me see, that's, you were born in 60, so 62 years.
Yeah.
So you're about 62 years. So his journey that started in Havana, Cuba. We're coming to you live from Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, which is a place here at Celebration Pointe that Frank is tied to as far as the operations director that makes sure that everybody has a wonderful time when they come to Celebration Pointe. So Frank is started in Cuba. His family moved in 1970 to Miami, and then they migrated up to Newark, New Jersey, and that's where we are. And Frank's talking about how he stayed alive as a youngster. So you went to school. When you think of leadership, what was your early thoughts of the way your father handled things? Because I'm sure he had a huge influence on your life.
Yes.
Now you look back on it and you look at leadership, what are some of your thoughts on your dad's style of leadership?
Yeah, my dad always told me, and I never forget that, and my dad, he say, son, in this country, there's a land of opportunity. You ain't gonna get rich by working an 8 hours a day job. You need to be a leader. You need to be a manager, and let people look at you as a leader. And the most important part of any leader is not that you can get a bunch of people together. A good leader have people follow you. Mm-hmm. And then that's what I create. That I had a philosophy always to take care and go out of my way to take care of people. And for me, like my employees here in Celebration Point, they are my family. Mm-hmm. I treat them like human being, and I treat every man with respect and every woman and man with respect. I joke a lot, but that's my character.
You always have a smile on your face, too.
Always. That's what keeps me young, I guess. Yes.
Now, when you were back in Newark, you went to high school there?
No, I went to Newark. I went to elementary school. I was young.
Okay.
I was young. They put you behind a year because of your language barrier. Mm-hmm. But I was at elementary school there, and then I went to elementary school here in Miami, Melrose Elementary. Then I went to junior high here in Miami, and high school. I graduated from Miami Springs Senior High in Miami. My junior highs, I went to Alapata Junior High and Filer in Hialeah.
Okay, so did I hear you say that you spoke Portuguese?
No, I don't. A little bit. I learned a little bit. I forgot all about it just to survive. Okay. Yes, the bad words, mm-hmm. And don't mess with me, because the Portuguese used to be like, it's normal. It's not the bad people. They're great people. They're great immigration. It's just, it's normal. Okay. The Cubans fight with the Italian fight with blacks, with the whites. It's like that. But I really have not that much problem, because in Cuba, we live together, blacks and whites, mm-hmm. and green and yellow. We don't have different neighborhoods. And for me, every man is the same to me. One day I might need your blood, and that's the way at it. And then my dad say always, Frank, you always have one time for a good impression. Always be clean and respect people and take care of your boss and make sure everything goes out. Don't brown nose nobody, but you need to make sure they use that. And that's why I've been so successful in my life. From starting in Miami, Section 8 housing supervisor, to 2,000 apartment complex, Coachman Wakefield, CB Richards, all the way to I worked at the United States Secret Service for many years. I worked with the biggest guy.
Well, we're gonna talk about that later in the show, about those days. I'm interested. You probably had a lot better communication style when you moved back to Miami, because there was such a cultural change from Newark. What was it like growing up in Miami in the 70s when you got back there?
Well, it wasn't that many Cubans there. We were studying the first thing, and then we met. I integrate myself a lot where we live in Northeast Miami with the Jewish community. Wonderful people. The Jewish people are such a wonderful person. They're very strong with the money. I learned that with them. They very humble. They take care because they know the backgrounds. And some Jewish people took care of us in Northeast, bought me bicycles, got me a bicycle route. I did that for Miami Herald. We had so much fun with them. And then I ended up working, my first job was working for Richard Finkelstein, a real rich Jewish guy. And we became, it's like a man like Svein Dilkelbach here in Celebration. and I was his right-hand man there, and I took care of him, whatever, and it was so wonderful. And he teach me a lot about leadership. Say, Frank, you're not a regular guy that takes go do labor. You have a lot of leadership. Do that, and you're gonna get ahead in your life. It's up to you what you want to do, in your life. I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to be anything like that. My dad say, you want to be whatever you want to be, but if you learn a trade, son, you will never starve in any country, no matter how bad the economy is. I'm the result of that. And that's what I did, and that's what I took my role of leadership. Since I'm 16 years old, remember my first job, Blue Ribbon Meats in Miami, working with inmates, people they don't want to work with. And I was a young man, skinny. They used to call me Lizard, how skinny I was, running at nighttime from 8 o'clock at night to 11 in a meat processing plant in Hialeah, Florida, to take care of the federal, where they stamp, the USDA stamp the guy. That was my first job as a supervisor. And from 16 years old, I have never done any labor work like.
You were 16 at that time?
16.
Wow.
60 years old.
You were mentioning earlier before we started the program that when the boat lift started coming from
1980.
In 1980, that you worked as a translator.
Yes.
You graduated from high school in 79.
Yes.
And you started working as a translator. How did you get involved in that, and what was that like?
I went up there. I was not actually full-time worker for that. I was working at a young time with my dad in a company that he created called Frank Service for 40-something years. I was a guy repairing air conditioning, stuff like that. But when I saw the migration of the Cubans coming to like that, then since part of my blood, I say, you know what? I feel like I need to help, because this country is being so humble to us. I open our arm. Let me give a little, and let me go and help them. And what I did is I would start doing translation for free, just to help. Mm-hmm. And we help in Opalaka Airport, the big flotilla, and interview people and make sure we find housings and stuff like that. That was my role at that time.
And what was that like to already have been in this country for 10 years, and what did you see in the people's eyes, that you welcomed to America, because you had been here for 10 years?
Yes, sir.
What did you see in their eyes as they were getting off of those boats and trying to become integrated into the United States?
Yeah, they were looking so hungry for freedom, and there were a bunch of them, good family, good working family, like my parents. Cuban families are very hardworking people, mm-hmm. But there were some bad ones, because Fidel, when went to the Peru embassy, he wanted to show the world that he's not a bad man. And then what he said, what they did is he told people around here, I give you 5 of your family members when they went with a boat lift up there. You get 5 of your family, but I want to give you 20 inmates that I have in this mental institution, and all these undesirable people in the country that we call them in Spanish escoria. Escoria means the shaving of a metal. When you cut it, it's not good for anything. And those are the people that got mixed together with that, and that's when the Marielitos start fighting with the cocaine cowboys in Miami, because they were used to survive. I say, those cocaine cowboys, they ain't going to last a minute here, because these people are surviving they killed to survive. And that's what they took all that. That's what Scarface movie came out. All that. That's kind of real reality of that. Mm. And I went ahead, and my mom said, let's take 3 guys out of there and let's help them. And we help them out. That we give them housing and everything. They turned to be like they were really delinquents. And then I got rid of them because of my character, the way I am. And I got rid of them. My father is a very humble man, don't like confrontation. But I got the character from my mom. Mm. And I got rid of them. But it's that the immigration from Cuba have gone so good in this country. You can tell like here in Gainesville, whatever Cuban land, it will make it prosper. Because we don't, if we lose this country, we don't have anywhere to go. There's no place to go for us. I don't care anybody say, this is the best country in the world. And if we don't, where else are you going to go? Mm-hmm. And that's why you have to always tell people, my son, you have to be a leader. And you have to, that way you can prosper and get a house, get a motorhome, get a house like I live right now. I live like a king. Very simple. I don't have a big old house. I live in a nice country house in a double wide trailer. And I don't change it for nothing in the world. And I got the best woman in my life, a country girl. Okay? And I'm the happiest person in the world and the best job in the world. I have it right now.
Have you been back to Cuba?
No,
since?
I will not ever go back to Cuba unless it's 100% free and the American people are taking care of it. Because if I go back to Cuba, I disrespecting all the sacrifice that my dad did to bring me to this great country. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to do that.
Mm-hmm. What are your fondest memories of your childhood, of your city? You've talked about the troubles you had. What are the fondest
I had
memories?
great time in Cuba. In Cuba, a 5, 6, 7-year-old, 10-year-old kid rides a bicycle everywhere through Havana. Nobody bothers you. Now it's normal. It's the way our culture is. And I had a great childhood in Cuba, in the sense of having fun with my kids, with homemade toys and stuff like that. But my childhood in Cuba was very labor-wise and tension from my father. We used to have to go. We didn't have any food. I had to go milk a goat. My dad, at the middle of the night, in a Bacardi bottle full of milk, the lady would say, "You bring meat, you bring grass to my goat, and I give you a bottle of milk." I was raised with goat milk, and then that's how I did it. But my childhood was always working with my father, entrepreneur, inventing. Follow the Russians in Cuba. Cuba was all full of Russians, and I follow the Russians in Cuba, and they chain smokers. They throw away the cigarettes, and I will pick up the cigarette, break it to pieces, and put it in a jar. And then I make homemade cigarettes and sell it back to them.
Just from the little bit of tobacco that they left.
And we invent a cigarette machine, and we sell it to the Cuban people, because Cuban people cannot go to the market like here and buy stuff like that. Everything has to be in the black market, because everything's controlled by a book. How much meat you get, 4 pounds of meat, 5 pounds of rice a month. The rest is up to you to go get it.
Fascinating.
Yes.
We're going to take a break here.
Yes, sir.
We have a couple of commercials, and when we come back, I want to jump forward and talk about some later parts. You touched on it a little bit with the Secret Service, and I want to find out how you got involved in that and share some of your experiences there.
Yes, sir.
You're listening to MotivationU the Podcast, and we'll be right back.
We still hear it. The sound of victory. The joy of being part of something great. And while things may not be the same right now, we haven't gone anywhere.
If you bleed orange and blue, then Meldon Law is the firm for you.
Looking for more reasons to celebrate? We have them here at Celebration Pointe. Enjoy some of the newest additions to our already celebratory lineup, like Dave & Buster's, Les Macarons, and Prime and Pearl. There's always a reason to celebrate. Join us anytime for any occasion. Celebration Pointe, where Gators come to celebrate.
Hi, Steve Spurrier here. You know, making a reservation at my restaurant is easier than a Saturday afternoon homecoming game against Vandy. You don't have to call or email. Just go to spurriers.com, hit the reservation button, pick a date, a number of guests, and a time. It's so simple, I can do it. In fact, I just did. Maybe I'll see you tonight.
Welcome back. My name is Bob Ganzak, and we're at MotivationU the Podcast here within Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. If you've never been to Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, it's a place that you just have to come to. It's the atmosphere, the food, the ambiance, the wine, the museum, whatever you want, you can really find it here. People, friendly faces, smiles, and then you have Celebration Pointe, which is the place that Spurrier's is located at. Bass Pro Shops, different restaurants and stores, a Nike store, the movie theater. Just a great place to bring your family and share some time. And it's just great to be here. And my guest today is Frank Suarez, and we have unpacked a lot so far in the first half hour of this program, where Frank was born in Cuba, came to the States when he was 10, Newark, New Jersey, back to Miami, and we're going to jump ahead a little bit here. A very interesting part of your life, well, your entire life has been interesting, but a part that we're going to talk about right now is that time with the Secret Service. How did you get involved with the United States Secret Service?
Okay, and in 2001, I worked for Armando Codina Real Estate Management, taking care of 9 million square feet of warehouses that he was a partner, I think, with Jeb Bush, and at that time.
And that's in Miami?
Miami, yes, sir,
okay.
in Doral. And then I took care of that, and a wonderful person, her name is Marta Fernandez, she was a manager, gave me the opportunity to work there as assistant to the chief engineer. I worked there for like a year or 2 years, and then the chief engineer had a heart attack, a massive heart attack. Melvin, wonderful man. And Marta said, here's your opportunity, Frank. I want you to get there. You have great leadership. Everybody likes you here. I think you do this role very well, and you knowledge very much electricity, everything, because I was an electrician before that. And I took that role and then took care of everything for Codina Real Estate Management. Then Codina Real Estate Management got sold out by Flagger Real Estate Management. Mm-hmm. And I took over more properties, and then they would start building. In 2003, they started, Jeb Bush, President Bush wanted to build the only self-standing building for United States Secret Service in Miami. It's still standing today. Well, they needed somebody with some knowledge and some good backgrounds and everything, and I did not apply. They asked me, hey, Frank, I think you'd be a great candidate for that. Let's put you to background check. They put myself in 2003 to background check. Took about a year. The building was getting built. In 2004, the building was built. I went and started working there part-time while I was taking care of the whole rest of the operation. And then Manny, the manager that was there at the beginning, went back to Flagger. And then I stayed full-time at Secret Service in Miami, taking care of the daily operation of the building. And it's very unique inside there. I ain't going to go in details on that, but it's very unique. A wonderful family to me. They still, up to today, I keep in touch with all of them and took care of the role of the daily operation. And I became their family. And they took me in. And like I say, I worked there from 2003 all the way to 2016.
So that was a couple of different presidents that you worked during.
Bush, Clinton, Obama, and when I left, Donald Trump.
Did you have the opportunity to interact with them at all? Did you ever have that? Or
I had the opportunity. I met Obama, Bush, and then I definitely got a few pictures with Donald Trump. But most of the time I went through 4 different directors, and they're all my personal friends, really personal. And they change every 4 years, different directors, whoever runs the whole operation there. And then I made a lot of friends, but that by working there, it opens my doors to everywhere because of my credentials and everything like that. And then I worked there. I left 2016 because I wanted to move to North Florida because I hunt and I love the country. And I say, okay, you know what? I'm tired of driving an hour and a half every day from Clewiston to Miami because I didn't live in Miami. I live in Clewiston. And I say, let me move here. When I moved here, I had a friend of mine. His name is Harry Mosley for Coachman Wakefield, a director of maintenance. He's a very good friend of mine. He got me a job in Jacksonville as to take care of FEMA. And because of my credit, and then I took care of different places up there in San Agustin, high end.
Did you live in St. Augustine?
No, I live in O'Brien, drive 2 hours every day to work.
Okay, so O'Brien is a
small town in Suwannee County.
In Suwannee County. It's
Very small.
Southern Suwannee County.
Yeah, so it's by Brantford. Next to the Brantford is State Road 129 and Highway 27. Deep in the wood, one light, and wonderful people. And I moved there, and I start building my farm, and I drive every day to Jacksonville. But then it gets a little bit, I say, man, I'm getting tired of this. But the opportunity opened here, the manager here needed an assistant, and he was going to go work for the library department for Alachua County. And I say, I need somebody here. And then the guy said, okay, I'll take it. And then I say, okay, it took a little while to get hired here. And a wonderful man named Sean McIntosh is the manager here. That's my brother here. And
Sean is one of my favorite people.
Man, God, he's a great man. He gave me the opportunity, and he asked Mr. Svein if he wants to hire me. Svein didn't know me, and was the best move he ever did, hire me, because I love him. And then I got the job here, and I started as a maintenance guy, and I became a chief engineer for a while. Then I got to get involved with everything, like my good friend Tom, the construction guy here, Tom, very knowledgeable man. I used to get involved all his stuff too, and he always tell me, Frank, you like rice, you everywhere, you want to be everywhere. But that's how I learned the system. Not because I want to stick my nose everywhere. I learned the system like that.
So you've worked for so many different leaders. What are some of your favorite qualities of a leader?
My favorite quality of a leader is oh my God, how can I explain that? Is being together with people, treating the people right. I always say that you get more with honey than vinegar. And if you see a guy with a weed eater in the corner, and I'm going to give you an example. Willie Jenkins, my right-hand man here, he was a porter here. And I put him to work, and I say, come on, you need to get ahead of me. And he's my right-hand man here, left hand, my kidney, everything. I love that man. And that's how I see the leadership say, you need to give people opportunity. Don't take everything to your grave. Because, we all replaceable in this country. And I always tell the people, the biggest job in the world for me is to be the president of the great nation, the United States. What happened to Nixon? Out if he mess up. Okay? And everybody's replaceable. And that was my thing of leadership. If you show that leadership, you learn a lot on that. And I read, when I was smaller, used to read in Newark. I read a lot of poems and quotes of Martin Luther King, of that man, how he wants to be humble, he wants to put everybody together. But like my dad says, see, that man's got a lot of people that doesn't want him there, and a lot of people want him there. That you're going to have that in this country. And it happens to me. I've been lucky. I don't know if I have any enemies or not. I really don't know. I might. Everybody have it. But I really don't think so. I think I'm doing a good job here. I told Mr. Svein I want to retire here. And this is my bread and butter. And I'm going to defend this. Whether Mr. Svein or anybody don't agree with me, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make sure this is going to stay up.
What is we've had Svein on this program here, and he was a graduate. Svein Dirkelbotten is the
Principal.
basically the president of Celebration Point, the head honcho,
Viking company, yes, sir.
Viking companies that developed this. What do you see in his leadership style that you admire?
He give everybody an opportunity in here, including me. A very humble man, and the most important part of Mr. Svein that I learning from him, he's a numbers man. You cannot mess up with him with numbers. He can see through your eyes if you're going to be productive or not. Big risk taker, but he knows what he's doing. Mm-hmm. Okay, and he struggled a lot through this project because it's very hard these days with labor, especially labor. But he gave everybody an opportunity, and very humble man, and he's a very good family man. He loves his family. That's his priority and everything. Very successful basketball player and everything like that. And he's great on my book. And I told him that I'm gonna retire with him. You know, he's not my boss. He's not my leader. He's my family. Mm-hmm. And then he's going to be very successful because, like I learned that from Mr. Weaver, Freddie. I learned that there's no room for failure in Celebration Point. Mm-hmm. We're going to work. I don't care if I don't get paid one day. I don't care, but we always get paid. Mm-hmm. But that's the way my philosophy is here. We're going to make this place the best place to live in United States.
So Svein came from another country, also Norway. And,
yes.
And what differences do you see in the way he approaches life versus like yourself that approaches life coming from Cuba? Is there similarities? Are there differences that you see?
It's different. The thing is that Mr. Svein was not born with a golden spoon on his mouth. He knows what an immigrant takes to get here. He was adopted here. They took care. He had great skills of basketball. All that, and he see that probably on me and everybody, and he teach everybody, including his daughters, how to be successful, how to do everything with hand. Don't depend on everything. It's very low maintenance, man. He don't want a chauffeur. He don't want anything. He just wants to be successful.
That's interesting. Now,
yeah.
You also mentioned Sean McIntosh.
Yeah,
Sean is I want to get Sean on this program. So Sean, if you see Frank, you know, we want you on this program also. Talk about so many different things with Sean. What are the things that you admire about Sean and his leadership style?
Yeah, Sean is a very decent man and a very smart businessman. He makes good, and then in top of it, while we get along, we have the same character. He can joke. He can make a business deal, and you still laughing after you spend $50 million. Svein, I'll ask him to help him with his decisions and everything like that because he's a super smart man and the best dressed man in Gainesville.
Oh, by far. I'm a friend of his on Facebook, and he just posted all of those pictures with his nice pink suit on.
Always representing Celebration Point, clean. Everything is
he's
super smart.
He's got a nice haircut too.
Yes, he's a super smart man. We have a great team here. Tom, Bill, everybody in my office. I can name everybody. I love everybody. Jan, you know, we get along so good with everybody. We have a great, you know, landscaping crew, a great maintenance crew. You know, we do everything in house. We shake hands with Svein years ago. I say, Svein, we got to bring everything in house. I'm kind of almost like a founder of this businesses like this, but it's been very successful. Mm-hmm. Very successful. We got a great team, great landscaper, great landscaping leader, everything, you know, James, Joe Floyd, taking care of everything very, very well. Willie Jenkins, Ruben, everybody. I can name everybody. Connie, every controllers, everybody. And I love to work here every day.
What is your leadership style?
My style, man.
I actually made Frank quiet for a second there.
Yeah.
What is your leadership style? What do you hope you're portraying to your team?
Well, I hope to portray to my team is my leadership trial. I want to make another Frank. I'm going to bring another Frank here, and I want everybody to be successful, man. Everybody to be successful. And when everybody's happy at work, when everybody wants to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and come over here and put a blower, even the guy with the weed eater, that's a good accomplishment of what I've done. And when I leave here, that I retire, that one day I have to, I want to leave somebody here, another Frank Suarez here, that would take care of my people and take care of Mr. Svein and his daughter, because Svein will be old. Maybe his daughter get over.
I don't think Spain's ever going to get old.
I know. But the thing is that that's my goal here, to make sure everything is running perfect. And I want to be successful. I want to be able to come here one day with my son bringing me here in a car, taking me to UF, to the doctor in Pampers, to say, hey, Frank Suarez, hey, son, I built that. That's my name there. You know, my day might have a name for Celebration Point, might have my name, Frank Suarez Avenue. I don't think that happened unless I die.
Are you starting to, bargain for that here?
Yeah, well, I always joke about it, and, I'm pretty sure that I got a place in the heart with Spain. And one day, Coach Perry Way, I might have another one, Frank Suarez Alley. Yeah.
When, if I was to take one of the people that work for you in your department, and I was to ask them to describe Frank Suarez, what would they say?
They always say, Frank Suarez is a good boss. They text me that. You're a great boss, Frank. Great boss. That's how I want him to feel. I don't want him to fear me. The day an employee is scared of you, you're not doing a good job. You need to, it's like my dad said, don't ever scare me. I can beat the hell out of you, but don't ever respect me. They all respect me, super respectful, everybody here. And that's how they would think about me. That's how I want them to feel about me. When I need to put my foot down, never ever had a person talk back to me. In my career, I'm not kidding you, I always have nobody, because you have to ask things, please. That's how I think they will ask about me.
I was talking to a gentleman a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about the word respect, because that's what you're talking about right now is respect. How do you gain respect of the employees? How do you see? Do you ask for it? How do you gain respect? I
gain respect by being together with them, and whenever we need to take care, like A1, A2, A3, or go pick something up, I'll be there with them. I work together with them, and I'm special. If we have to run, we have a clogged duct toilet here. We had it many times. I say, hey, give me that. I do it myself. I go clean the toilet myself. I go take care of your area. You go ahead and take care of your family. You are sick. Your daughter's sick. This place got to be clean. I don't care to get a backpack blower on me and pick up trash and do whatever. That's the respect they say. He's there with us. A good leader is like that president of Ukraine fighting with their own people. That's how you get respect. Not by giving them raises and giving them all this stuff like that. You still have to compensate them all the time. If they a good work day here, I bring them to a spare or the keys. I better drink, because that's how you do. Because my dad always say that. You know why the whale jumps in Seaquarium Ocean? You know why they jump?
No.
Because he gets a big sardine. And that's what they do. The same thing you do with them. You take care of them. Hey, Frank, I'm sick. I have a problem in my family. I have an issue with my wife. Okay, whatever. Go take care of your stuff like that. I pay you for your day. Go ahead. Don't worry about that. You're not going to get paid, and that's why you don't want to get a day off and solve your medical issues. We are humans. If we don't take care of each other, don't abuse from me, because I know every trick in the world to get a day off. But so far, knock on wood, never had any problem with my employees. And every single person that worked for me, they're not my employees. They're my family. And everybody knows that.
So you cannot demand respect. You earn respect.
You earn respect.
And it's earned on a daily basis.
Daily basic. I have told you, I look forward every day. Everybody here treat me, yes, sir. Yes. No disrespect. Ever have one. I'm not kidding you. I never had anybody disrespect me.
Now, you've mentioned Martin Luther King. You've mentioned the Bush family, Obama, Trump. You've mentioned Svein and Sean McIntosh and Freddie Wiebe, Coach Spurrier, your dad. You look at all of those great leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Is there one that stands above the rest for you?
My dad.
Yeah. And why? Just.
Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. We can't go there.
Nope.
You know, just a wonderful man that you admire your whole life. And he set a road for you, a path.
A very good road.
That was built on interesting words, integrity, effort, caring. You know, it's an amazing thing that you've taken that same road that your dad laid down for you, and you've continued to build that. That must make you feel
He's
incredible.
a wonderful and wonderful person. It was the guy who teach me how to get girls. He teach me how to drink. He teach me how to fight, and he teach me how to survive. And me and him were so tight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when he died, I got real sick.
Yeah. I lost my dad in 2012, and he was my best friend. And those.
Yeah, but I'm the result of that now.
Yeah.
And I told my son that.
We both are. You know, our dads were very important to us, and I know the way I try to treat other people is the same way that my dad treated people. There was never a stranger.
I know.
To him.
I swear, my dad, even the baddest communist man in the world. I remember him. He used to say, Frank Suarez. They used to call my father in Cuba Paco. Paco, you're a super smart, wonderful man. You're a great leader, you know. But I got to do my job. You're not a communist. I cannot be your friend. And I just remember that all the time. And then I remember one day, just to let you know that one day we were in the house and the communist people came inside the house because my father took a tank of Freon for his job to do side work to go give us food. That Freon used to belong to him. They confiscated from him. And they came to our house. They beat the hell out of my father in the middle of the night. The guy urinated in my mother's face. Never forget that. I hate communist people.
So that's kind of shaped who you are and you know what you've taught your kids.
Yeah.
What legacy will your children carry into the future about who their dad?
Yeah, they do that. My son's doing that. Very successful. My son, an electrician. Joel, he joined the Marine Corps. He actually did it for me. I know he did. He joined because I told him, you need to serve in this country because this is the only thing we got. We got to defend it. My son, Frankie, my baby, he worked for me here. He's very super smart guy. He's trying to go to college. And I have a daughter, work for a doctor in Miami, Cassandra Casey. It's my life. And I accomplish everything. And they know who I am. And they all following me. My daughter is a leader. My son is a leader. Frankie is still working out. He's still young. He's a different kind of guy. But I think they're all following me, and they're all going to be good human beings and good persons in this country. And then they're all going to be, I think, successful because they're already past the age of dangers, teenagers. And for me, they're all successful. We get together all the time. You know, we very outdoor. And I think I've done a wonderful job raising them. And I blessed with having the best wife in the world.
What is it like having Frankie work for you? What are some of the interesting?
Frankie works for me, and then believe it or not, he gets the hottest here, and I put Willie Jenkins as his direct supervisor. That way, there's no interfere with me being his father. But he represents very well. You go to every inch over there, and when he does something wrong here, most of the people here, I scream at them in the middle of the day during working hour. Frankie gets it during the working hour and the way home. And then at dinner time. But he represents me very well. He loved this job. He's a very humble guy, very petite. And I think, he's going to do very good when I retire from here. Hopefully he stays, But I want him to start going to school. But I let him be whatever he wants to do. He wants to go to
How old
trade.
is Frankie?
He's 20 years old now.
20.
Yeah, late bloomer. It's not too, he don't look 20. But he very good. He helps me a lot on the farm. Mm-hmm. And very respectful. And it's great. He's a great kid, But we have a great team here. Mm-hmm. The best team.
In a short couple of sentences, sum up your life of what, here at age 62, what Frank Suarez's journey has been like.
It's been a great journey. I met a lot of people. I have the biggest family in the United States. Not blood family. It's like, I don't know. It's the way I am, and I'm the happiest person in the world. I'm very low maintenance. That's not what my wife say, but I spend a lot of money on toys and stuff like that. I buy bicycles, I buy fishing rods, but hey, I have to enjoy my life because I was dead one time. I had quadruple bypass in 2015. Mm. And when the guy told me that he'd start me at the first time when I didn't woke up. Mm. The second time. And from that day on, I look at life so different that nothing bothers me anymore. Only sometimes something that I create and I see somebody, I'm like a predator. Somebody coming to my territory, something that I create, and I see something going on bad, that, in my opinion, might not be bad in other people's eyes, but I'm very like that. But the rest, I'm just humble person.
Well,
I
so much appreciate.
Yeah,
Frank,
I'm sorry about my.
Oh no,
crying.
no.
It's very touchy subject. My father.
Never. There is never ever a reason to apologize for that. Please don't. Yeah. You don't have to, and not at all. It's just been great. If you come to, or when you come to Celebration Pointe, and you see a gentleman driving around in a golf cart or a little tractor with a cowboy hat on and a huge smile, wave him down and talk to Frank Suarez, because the man he's a legend. You talk to anybody around here, everybody loves Frank. And as you can tell just by the last 1 hour that we've shared with him, he has a very interesting life. And I really appreciate you being with us. Thank you, Frank.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much.
MotivationU the podcast comes to you live from Spurrier's Gridiron Grill every Thursday morning at 11 o'clock. You can find it on Spotify, on Facebook Live, on YouTube, some 30-some different places, Apple Podcasts, wherever you find your podcasts. You can find MotivationU the podcast. And there's a lot of great stuff there in the back, some great guests that we've had over the last 6-7 months. So please join us. And we'll be back here next week with another interesting person to talk leadership with. And for my wonderful colleague and producer, Evan Miller, I thank you very much, Evan, for being with us. And for Coach Spurrier and Freddie Wiebe and Svein Dirkelbotten and all of the individuals that make this possible to enjoy this great facility here of Celebration Pointe and Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. My name is Bob Ganzak. This is MotivationU the podcast.